Hello, my name is Tim Seacrest, and I work in Logan County, West Virginia, for Adult Protective Services, or APS for short, a division of the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources. I want to speak to you today about financial exploitation among our incapacitated adult population. Whether it's cybercrime by hackers, identity theft, breaking and entering, or financial exploitation, the financial security of the elderly and disabled is often at risk of being abused and exploited. The three areas that APS focuses upon are abuse, neglect, and financial exploitation. The three typically go together. Neglect and abuse are often the end result of family members and friends using the victim's financial resources for themselves at the expense of providing for the victim's welfare. Now, surprisingly, most financial exploitation comes from family and friends and not from strangers. Abuse and neglect are often easy to spot, at least easier than financial exploitation. And financial exploitation, while easy to suspect, is not easy to detect. It's only with diligent investigation that we are able to discover that an exploiter has been taking advantage of a victim. So what can we as APS workers do? I use my experience when I go out for a visit to a client's home. I watch for situations that don't add up. For example, if the client is 80 years old and there are piles of discarded pizza boxes in the house, she likely didn't eat all that pizza by herself, though she may have unwillingly or unknowingly paid for it. Secondly, I listen for comments a client may make about her living situation. Some examples are, why is she living with her adult child instead of her own house? How the utilities got cut off recently, or that her adult child doesn't work regularly but always seems to have money to spend. I also watch for the less obvious signs, new electronics that the client can't see and doesn't know how to use, a new car in the driveway that is in the client's name but she can no longer drive. Next, I try to ask good questions to both the potential victim and the perpetrators. These might include asking the alleged victim about who helps them pay their bills, who helps them with their money, and if they read their bank statements each month. I find it helpful as well to ask if I can get the alleged victim alone for a few minutes to speak to them privately. Perpetrators typically don't want us to do that, and their reaction may speak volumes. Casually asking the alleged perpetrators about their work and daily routines can also shed light on their lifestyles that may be funded by the victim. Now, none of these things, of course, are proof that something nefarious is going on, but they can be strong clues. Watch and listen carefully. I have also found it helpful to involve others. Our supervisors, of course, are great resources. I keep my supervisor informed throughout the process. Her experience and willingness to help is invaluable. When I can, I talk to other experienced workers at APS and in our community network. My coworkers are a trove of knowledge and insight, but I also don't hesitate to call banks, insurance companies, and tax offices to get information. By finding as many pieces to the puzzle as possible, we can get a clearer picture of the facts concerning exploitation. It's not always easy to spot exploitation. Hard evidence is often difficult to come by, especially if the perpetrators have covered their tracks. But as APS workers, we owe it to our clients to do our best to protect them and help them to have the best and safest life possible. If you suspect exploitation in West Virginia, you can report it to APS by calling 1-800-352-6513. You can also reach out to Legal Aid of West Virginia's Ombudsman, who represent those in elder and long-term care facilities, at 1-800-834-0598.